Happy Thursday, everybody. This is Crypto and Coffee with the Trading Bros. I'm your host, Clutch Crypto. We got B. Wellington over here on the charts. We got some possible trickery going on in the market today. Let's take a look at it, see what's going on, and maybe, just maybe, we'll give a little bit of inside non-financial advice where everyone might be able to make just a little bit of money. What we got?
Yeah. So, we'll hop over to our daily, which is where we always start from, just kind of gives everybody perspective. So, we have nothing's really changed. We're kind of at this point. I mean, we're pre-open, so we're pumping a little bit, but, rejected off that 800 as we looked at on ETH, kind of hopping into ETH USDT where we've got some of these other lines. We do have this trend line down here, and we do have this wick that I think we're still going to get to. These green lines are vector candles that have been in the chart, and then some of these other lines are basically smaller ranges in vectors. So if it's red, it's a range. If it's a vector, then it's a area in which we think that the price is going to get back to. But as you can see, we're continuing down. I do expect, and I think it's happening now, for us to do somewhat of a turnaround. I mean, yesterday we got the Dow was down 1,100 points, so you're going to get some recovery off of that. And so I think crypto is going to follow with that, in suit. So we'll see how much in recovery of a bump that we get, but I do think that the trend is still to the downside on a macro standpoint. And so, I'd be careful taking longs at this position as far as catching the knife, unless you're doing some short scalps at this point. But I don't see any long-term trends to the upside unless we just start to really get some momentum. But we'll have to break the 800 on the daily in order to do that. So we've come down, kind of formed this low here in this time frame. This is the hourly. We still have, if you want to look at, different patterns, we still have this range down here that we've yet to test or break. And then we still have some vectors down here. So we've got a range down here, which is within the ADR. So we want to be careful about that because when you have these ADRs here, this is average daily range, which is the average daily range that Ethereum moves within the session. And so within a day. And so, when you look at these, this is very well a possibility. But, seeing that we've moved down so far, I do imagine that we will get a little bit to the upside. We are on the hourly, which is a pretty good time frame to make some assumptions from. But we could come back down. We came back up. We're kind of, this wick touching the EMA is not, or this 50 EMA is not real confident about it, but we could come back up, touch this, come back down. Then we would be testing this range down here and then possibly see if we could break down into this range. But, for now, I see a mean reversion back up to the 800 and possibly range around here before we move further to the downside. If we look at smaller time frames, even smaller time frames, this is my 14-minute. We've broken through the EMA on here, which is a good sign, and we've got some vectors coming into this 200 on the 14-minute. But again, this is a smaller time frame. We also have the pivot point up in this area, and this is kind of the highs of the London session as well. Well, we're still in the London session practically.
Yes, we are.
So making some new highs.
Fucking wankers.
So we'll say, hey man, let's not get on the wankers, dude. No wanking this morning. But we've got some volume that's coming into the session. So what do I expect up here? And even though it's a smaller time frame, I do expect a little bit of intraday rejection off of that 200 unless we see some vectors kind of bust through. And then if we do bust through this vector, then we're looking at 2088 as the next line of defense. And then this red line up here is kind of the high that the peak that we had before. And so when we get into this area, if you see vectors, I mean, just be careful of this area. But it'll take a lot to get, we got to get past this. And again, this is on 14 minutes, so it's not a strong time frame. But you got the 200 EMA, you got the pivot point, and then you've got the 800 EMA in yesterday's high. So all these are within range, and seeing as that we're kind of moving in that direction, and we've had such a down day in previous days, you never know, we may be able to get there.
Hey
So
man,
looking
are you
at,
still in that long?
I put a trailing stop on the long, so I got out of it, but I am in another long,
Oh,
which is doing okay right now. I mean, I've got a tight stop on it, just like I just mentioned, but it's doing okay at the moment. I mean, it's a small, up 20%, whatever that is. So, our saying 20%, that ain't shit. We going 40s and 50s, sometimes 100.
yeah,
Yes, baby.
couple times
But
a day.
we got perpetuals coming up, 4.8 billion. So just a little bit, not too much. We've got pricing, so just kind of looking at OI, not seeing anything real special here. OI is just kind of following along. We did have some price increase, and OI didn't really respond in kind. So that can give you some insight on some things. We always like to take a look at things like funding rate, kind of give sentiment. We've got across the board pretty much neutral to bullish. We've got buy bid, current, negative. These may be some of the shorts that have been lasted from this last period, but we'll see on that. Looking at what we always look at as far as exo charts. So this is another session. We'll just see if we can merge this one into this session data that we have. And so we're right here in the middle of this little peak. So we should either move up to the POC, which will be around that 2034, or we're going to come back down and kind of range within this area, which would be kind of 1957, which is kind of where we're at right now. So if we do get a good little push, I expect us to kind of range within this particular area. And I think that also, at 2033, or really, that's where that last peak was, which is where this POC is. So I watch out when we kind of get right there. And then also, let's see what it looks like on Bookmap. Just from looking at, and this is 5-bit USDT, so this is just one exchange, but just given as this is a kind of a proxy for the market, we've got some longs that just increased. We've got shorts that are kind of, opening, closing. So we'll kind of see how that happens. But, I would anticipate maybe some short relief, some relief to the upside, and then kind of moving down. If we look at things like the news that's coming out, so this news should be coming out right now. So it is the 19th. So jobless claims, right? So we've had more jobless claims than anticipated. This is kind of a big surprise because we've always said that there was a dearth of jobs out there because we've had the big resignations, and so people are looking for jobs. But this doesn't really indicate that. Continuing jobless claims, pretty consistent, pretty steady. Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index at 2.6. Don't really know because this is the census. So this is what they thought it would be. This is what it actually is, and this is what it was last year. So not sure why the large disconnect here. So there may be some problems relative to the numbers, and then waiting for existing home sales leading and other leading economic indicators. This is coming out at 10 a.m. So this is existing home sales. That's going to be big, but jobless claims coming in the way that they did would just indicate that the economy is not doing as well as people think, and so we'll see how that goes. I did pull up the market, so we are open. We've 6 minutes, and we are basically flat. So we still got oil up over 100, gold starting to surge a little bit, Bitcoin's up, of course, along with Ethereum, and markets are flat to negative in the early parts of the session.
Dang.
So that's pretty much what I have. I think we'll get a little bump to the upside short term, but overall, I mean, we're looking at we're still in a downtrend overall.
A little bumpity bump.
A little bump.
Man, here we go. So, well, high block capital on the ETH Binance chart. Let's see what it looks like. As you can see, we got a whole bunch of longs coming up out of here, trying to get us out of this negative liquidation delta level here. But as you can see, this isn't packly tight in yet, so, and then there's a lot of longs going, so I do anticipate that we may possibly have a slight pullback just to get these guys out of the picture before moving forward. We do have quite a few short liquidations all the way up to 21.89, so that's it's about another $200. So do pay attention to that. Do pay attention to us breaking new highs, higher highs as they like to call them, breaking 2040, breaking 2106. After we break 2106, the next thing to break would be 2166, and by that time we're up there by that big liquidation that we still have to go up there to recover. And guys, remember, there is a CME that still has not been closed yet, 2680, so anything can happen. Do keep that on your radar. This is Bookmap, and as you can see, just here in the last 30 minutes or so, you can see that we have broken out into a new range. We did have some pullback back in this area. They went ahead and pulled orders as we got into this area, which means that they're not interested in lower prices right now. We've come up, we broke a new higher high, and when we came down, well, we got orders down here. Are they going to pull them or not? So we need to pay attention back once we get back down in this 1975 range to see if we get a retracement bounce so we can continue to the upside. This is also at the top of the our chart volume profile, as you can see here, and then our CBDs continuing to go upward. We haven't ran out of gas for the upward momentum at this point. Breaking at 1900 is going to be a crucial point here in a minute. Looks like we're probably going to retest that here soon. If we do that, go ahead and expect us probably to get into some higher prices. As far as long-term liquidity, what we got on the books right now, nothing above us really other than the area we're fighting. We have 1800, we have 1700, and a new line of long liquidity just showed up at 1600, and then we have some 1500. All the liquidity on the books right now, guys, are pointing to the downside. So let's see if it maintains that momentum or if we're getting a change and we're going to start heading upwards.
Is that it?
Yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got right now.
No, I mean, look, so it looks like we've kind of broken through the VWAP, right? So the VWAP.
And the VWAP right here.
We kind of retest that VWAP, so we're kind of breaking away from the VWAP a little bit, but just looking at the chart here, you have the minimum.
Yeah, but this is all the big stuff. There's nothing up here. Everything is here, 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 and here, as far as liquidity on the book. So I think anything, based on what I'm seeing here, anything to the upside, it sounds too trappy for me.
Yeah, no, I think moving to the upside, it's going to be, if anything, I think it's going to be a little bit of a short squeeze, but definitely, we're still in a downtrend. But if you're a trader, you trade both ways, baby.
Cool, man. That is what we do, because today is trading day. We'll make it a national holiday.
We're gonna make it all. So hopefully, nothing. Everything positive comes in for trading day.
Right. Yeah. All right, guys.
Is that all we got?
That's all we got for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Until then, AM.